Hello everyone, I'm Aratrika Bhaumik and I welcome you all to another episode of Courts Today on LiveLaw, where we update you about all the important legal developments that took place across the country today. We will begin with developments from the Supreme Court of India and then move on to High Courts and other subordinate courts. If you like our content, then please do support us by liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Let's begin. The Supreme Court of India today affirmed the death penalty awarded to Lashkar-e-Taiba militant Muhammad Arif for the 2000 Red Fort attack case, which resulted in the death of 3 persons, including 2 army officers. The Supreme Court today dismissed the review petition filed by him, challenging his conviction as well as the sentence imposed upon him. A bench comprising CJR UU Lalit and Justice Bela M. Trivedi today stated, while pronouncing the judgment in open court, and I quote here, "We have accepted the prayers that electric records must be eschewed from consideration. However, having regard to the entirety of the matter, his guilt is proved. We affirm the view taken by this court and reject the review petition." We've made a detailed video on this particular hearing, the link to which has been given in the description box below. Please do check it out. The Supreme Court of India today dismissed a petition which sought to change the name of the Bombay High Court as the Maharashtra High Court. A Supreme Court bench comprising Justices Anuradha Bose and Vikram Nath dismissed the petition filed by VP Patel after noting that it is a matter that is to be decided by the Parliament instead. The bench said that it cannot interfere with the parliamentary procedure. The Supreme Court has said that it is trying to set up a national platform for live streaming, which can be used by the high courts of the country as well. A Supreme Court bench comprising Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and Hema Kohli said this orally today while hearing a petition filed by Advocate Matthews J. Nendupara seeking a uniform platform for live streaming of court proceedings. The bench told the petitioner that the court is trying to take steps to institutionalize the directions issued in the 2018 Swapnil Tripathi judgment, which had approved live streaming of court hearings. We've made a detailed video on this particular hearing, the link to which has been given in the description box below. Fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's lawyer has requested the Supreme Court of India today to relieve him from representing Mallya in a case as he is not receiving any communication from the liquor baron who is at present residing in the United Kingdom. "I want to be discharged from this matter. I am not receiving any instructions from this man," Advocate E.C. Agarwala told verbatim today to a bench comprising Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and Hema Kohli. Pertinently, the bench was considering 2 special leave petitions filed by Mallya in relation to monetary disputes with the State Bank of India. Accordingly, the Supreme Court bench today allowed the lawyer to follow the process for discharge from the case and asked him to inform the Supreme Court registry about the email ID and the present residential address of Mallya. Supreme Court bench comprising CJR UU Lalit and Justice Bela M. Trivedi today directed registry officials responsible for not listing a matter which had been ready for 1.5 years to file an explanation for the same by November 5th. The issue arose on November 1st when the bench led by CJR Lalit came across a matter which had long remained pending in the Supreme Court despite it being ready for listing. The Supreme Court bench had subsequently issued notice to the registry to file an explanation regarding why the matter was not listed before the court for 1.5 years despite it being ready. Pursuant to these directions issued by the court, a report under the signature of the concerned registrar was placed before the Supreme Court on November 2nd. This particular report made a reference to certain acts of some of the officials of the registry, due to which the matter had not been listed. In today's hearing, the Supreme Court bench sought an explanation from the concerned officials. The Supreme Court today took on record the summarized report filed by a court-constituted special investigation team in relation to the 1984 Anti-Sikh Riot cases. A Supreme Court bench comprising Justices A.S. Bopanna and P.S. Narasimha adjourned the hearing of a plea seeking probe into the 1984 riots after 2 weeks to peruse the report. Senior Advocate H.S. Fulka, appearing on behalf of the petitioner, cited the SIT report filed on 29th November 2019 and stated that sham trials are being taken up. Supreme Court bench comprising Chief Justice UU Lalit and Justice Bela M. Trivedi adjourned a petition seeking directions to the Ministry of Urban Development to convert land measuring 1.33 acres that was allotted to the Supreme Court into chamber blocks for lawyers. The matter is now listed for 21st November. At the very outset today, Senior Advocate Vikas Singh, appearing on behalf of the Supreme Court Bar Association, submitted that he had interacted with the judges' committee, which had said that it was for the lawyers to decide how the land was to be utilized. However, CJI UU Lalit today remarked that the administration had stated that they granted the land to the Supreme Court and not to the lawyers. Further, on the administrative side, the judges' committee cannot override policy decisions of the government. The Supreme Court of India has observed that mere non-supply of documents to delinquent employee cannot be a ground to set aside disciplinary proceedings. Mere non-supply of the documents which may not have resulted in any prejudice caused to the employee, the order passed by the disciplinary authority cannot be set aside, the bench of Justices M.R. Shah and Krishna Murari has observed. The Supreme Court of India has reserved its judgment on the issue of whether striking down of a provision granting immunity from arrest would have retrospective application, especially in view of the rights protected under Article 20 of the Constitution of India. A 5-judge bench of Justices S.K. Kaul, Sanjeev Khanna, A.S. Oka, Vikram Nath and J.K. Maheshwari heard Solicitor General Tushar Mehta for the Union of India, ASG S.V. Raju for the CBI. Earlier, Solicitor General had stated that once a provision is struck down, it would be considered as if the provision never existed. Senior Advocate Arvind Dattar had refuted this particular submission. The Supreme Court of India has refused to entertain a petition seeking to allow both side use of A4 size papers in all judicial and quasi-judicial proceedings. This particular matter was heard by a bench comprising CJI UU Lalit, Justices Ravinder Bhatt and Bela M. Trivedi. The petition was filed by Youth Bar Association of India, which sought directions to high courts, tribunals, judicial and quasi-judicial authorities within the territory of India to consider changing rules to allow both sides of a page to be used in all judicial proceedings. Necessary guidelines were sought in this regard. The Union government today told the Delhi High Court that appropriate arrangements have been made for ensuring the safety as well as the security of former Rajya Sabha MP Subramanian Swamy at his private residence in the national capital of Delhi. Additional Solicitor General Sanjay Jain today submitted before the court, and I quote here, security agencies are satisfied that appropriate arrangements have been made for ensuring the safety and security of the petitioner herein, considering the fact that he is a Z category protectee. This particular submission was made before the bench of Justice Yashwant Verma by the ASG in response to an application moved by Swamy in a pending case related to security arrangements at his private residence. News Laundry has moved the Delhi High Court against a single judge order which had given a prima facie finding in favor of TV Today network, which owns news channels like the India Today and Aaj Tak, while dismissing the media group's interim application in its defamation as well as copyright infringement suit against the news portal. TV Today network had filed a suit before a single judge against News Laundry, its CEO Abhinandan Sekhri and other individuals, seeking damages of ₹2 crores for copyright infringement and defamation of its anchors, management and employees. Denying interim relief to TV Today network in the suit, the single judge had said that a prima facie case was made out in its favor and that the statements made by News Laundry call for justification. Being dissatisfied with the claims made by the state government to deal with the spread of dengue fever in the city of Prayagraj, the Allahabad High Court today sought the personal appearance of the district magistrate, the municipal commissioner and the chief medical officer of Prayagraj on November 4th. The High Court bench of Chief Justice Rajesh Bindal and Justice J.J. Munir ordered thus while dealing with the suo motu PIL initiated to deal with the spread of dengue fever in the city of Prayagraj. The Madras High Court has criticized the recent trend of parents implicating school authorities and teachers whenever a school student commits suicide. Justice S.M. Subramaniam noted that teachers and headmasters could be made liable only if there was sufficient evidence regarding their misconduct. The High Court also noted that while it is easier to engage in blame game, it is much more difficult to maintain discipline in schools. Further, such general blaming would also negatively affect the students studying in the educational institution. Thank you. Keep watching Courts Today on LiveLaw for more such updates. See you tomorrow.